Hello, friends and family of the light. Something happening. There's something happening. That's all I can say. There's something happening. What it is, I don't quite know. Can I complain about it? Depends on which aspect of Corey you're talking to. Whether you're talking to the wounded Corey, the silly Corey. There's something going on though, right? And it's quite profound, the shifts that I've been able to observe and witness in my own life and in my own reality in regards to the lifetimes of carrying so much guilt, so much shame, and witnessing so much hypocrisy and how much I took on in my own life, right? In regards to perspectives on life, reality, whole bunch of other topics that we're not going to get into right now. It's been quite crazy, quite ridiculous. If you you've been through this process, you know how much it can make you just absolutely want to tear your freaking eyes out and rip your hair out. But on the other end of it, there's this like gentle breeze and this really nice calm that kind of comes over of witnessing the magic that's unfolding in all of our lives right now, and how beautiful it can be if we just sit with it and just allow it to embrace us fully. Okay, so what I mean by allowing it to embrace us fully is really finding what brings balance to our own life, what creates restriction or resistance in our own life or fear, and then facing it and moving through it, right? So there's this divine alchemy that comes into play when we choose consciously to expand beyond our limitations and to be able to walk forward in the face of fear without having to give into that part of ourselves that has at some point in time believed or perceived this to be real. It's about really honoring that feeling state, right? What our emotional needs, what our emotional well-being is, but also beginning to recognize that the more that we push through, okay, those fears, right, and we continue to contribute in ways that uplift and inspire one another, no matter how small or how big, it is those steps that provides us the ability to become what many would call a way shower, right? So that way shower is the most purified divine aspect of us that shows up and leads with a heart open, with compassion, and with a lot of love. Okay. Don't mind me. Just the things I'm seeing. There is a bunch of grass over there that looks like a unicorn. Don't mind me. Don't mind the whole unicorn thing. And then there's a duck. There's never ducks here. See, so here's the thing. This is the small witness of miracles in my own life that I'm beginning to see. I'll come out to the river. There are never ducks here. And there's this beautiful mallard duck just sitting there, just gracefully. You know, I'll have something that happens in my life and this bee will start buzzing around my head, just bzzz, you know, just let me know like, hey, you're on point here. And it happened the other day when I was eating some pomegranate. When I was done, I was on call with a brother of light who does readings, and he was doing a live. And as we're sitting there discussing some things that occurred on November 18th, a bee came and landed in the pomegranate juice. And it was like, I know how silly this might seem, but when you've gone through what I've gone through recently, and have seen what I've seen, and have felt what I've felt, and you begin to see these things, you just begin to melt. You begin to open up your heart. You begin to capture the most beautiful, innocent aspect of yourself, being able to fully witness what magic truly is. And right now, there is a divine orchestration. Thank you. There's a divine orchestration that is opening up for all of us, and it requires us to believe in magic again. And yet there is this simplicity in magic that is found in the subtleties of nature. It's found in the subtleties of the divine. It's found in those moments of rest when you need it the most, that it shows up and gives you a little wink and a little nudge and goes, I got you, buddy. Love ya. You know what I mean? And it happens all around us. Okay. The power of who we truly are as a creator being in a body. All right. And what is going on with our planetary ascension process right now is beyond extraordinary. It's beyond belief, right? It is, even in my own life, it has been riddled with confusion. It has been riddled with things that I can't quite fully grasp or fully know, because I'm just not meant to in this now moment. But the more that I walk in faith and I allow the illumination point of the effervescent pathway to unlock in every step that I take, whether that's resting, whether it's feeling, whether it's making a conscious choice, whether it's jumping a timeline, whether it's landing in an entire universe, or it's going to a whole nother planetary system, or it's helping the brothers and sisters out, right? Like upstairs or down below, whatever we're doing. There is this moment of profound wish fulfillment in knowing that I'm here, that I'm alive, and I get an opportunity to shake off those belief systems that no longer serve that true version of me from shining forward. And what we're talking about is the spark, right? We're talking about the spark of creation, the ignition point, or the flame from within us that ignites passion for life again. Over the last couple of thousands of years, a lot has gone on in various storylines, especially in regards to the Renaissance, Babylon, with the archangels. We've gone through a lot. Okay, we've gone through a lot. I don't fully digest every single storyline that I've been a part of. And that's awakening more and more, right? But there is this really profound feeling and depth in knowing that all is going to be okay, just as long as I learn to take a breath, and take a moment to open my heart and to just belong. I've been shaken awake so many times, and on this pathway, and even recently. And I'm not just talking like, you see a full moon and you feel some energies. I'm talking like, and every single time I'm like, I go to the restroom and I come back and I go, whatever happened there, I'm glad I made it out. Or I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I'm alive right now, right? It's been quite a universal trip. And it's going to be quite a story to share one day when I have more detail to share, and I feel comfortable in sharing that, right? Because it really is about the comfort level of our experience and how we can share that forward, right? A part of me honoring my authenticity is knowing that there are some things that I've gone through that are meant for me to witness alone and to know alone, okay? And it's not that I'm trying to keep something or I'm trying to cover up something. It's not it at all. What I'm trying to do is honor the fact that a part of the sacred ceremony and the sacred witnessing that occurs in my own life is that it's sacred and it belongs to me, and not every single detail can be shared. But what can be shared right now in this now moment is that it has provided me an opportunity to look deeper within and to really get clear on my pathway and what is right for me, what belongs to me, what doesn't, right? What things have happened in my journey in regards to, the judicial system and things like that, different things that have happened to me that they weren't quite mine at any point in time, but because I chose to have that experience, I took responsibility for it, and now I'm consciously choosing to shift it out of my reality. Does that make sense? So it's witnessing that there is no more level of the victimhood or the martyrdom, but it requires myself, to give myself an opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to go feel that for a little bit, right? And I'm going to kick and scream. I'm going to tucker it out. And then when I'm done, I'm going to feel better. And the biggest part of that is deep honoring. Okay. Now, in regards to deep listening right now, I found in my own life that in regards to listening, it's very simple. It's just like get up, make some food, right? Get a glass of water, go outside, sit with Gaia. And for right now, if that's the only thing I need to do, I need to do that. And that's what I trust. It was just about a few minutes ago that I was getting up and it was like, oh crap, he's grabbing the phone, he's about to make a video, and I had the cards in my hand. They're like, put down the cards. I'm like, all right, it's like mom and dad are here going, can't do this, you can't do that. But I get why, because I'm getting a greater understanding of what I've been through, what I'm aligning to, and what I'm beginning to practice in my life that one day will help other people. And that's the one thing I want to state, is that sometimes in our journey, we might not fully get why we're going through certain experiences. We might not know why we've landed on certain pathways, or why we've met certain people, or why we've gone through what we've gone through. And I've taught this since I first started this channel, and it's about understanding that on our journey, we understand going forward. So we learn going forward and we understand backwards, right? So if we were to have a linear reference on a pathway, even though we know time's not linear and we're, circles, squares and octagons and stuff like that, right? What I'm being silly with the sacred geometry stuff, but what I'm trying to get at is that on our pathway, when we are walking into the unknown, we might not fully understand why we're being guided to do what we're doing, or why we're seeing what we're seeing, or why we're going through what we're going through. It's not until we get to the landing point at the end of that we can take a moment to reflect back and go, oh, I get it. I see why on this part of the pathway I ran into this person and why I chose to do this. And we begin to understand the orchestration. As a part of that, right, we begin to unify all the polarity, right? We begin to unify all of our aspects, and we go, wow, I understand that this great unraveling has been occurring in my own life, and every step and point on the journey was an opportunity to step forward with deeper and deeper truth, deeper and deeper clarity, and deeper trust in the pathway and in the alignment. Okay. There's a lot of things right now that don't make sense in my life. And as a result, since it doesn't make sense and things get kind of quirky and complicated in some ways, okay, quote unquote, air quotes here, it's a return to simplicity, right? There's something about the design and the pathway that requires us to return to basics and to return to simplicity to gain our mastery whenever we land in a new level. And that's what I've had to do in my own life. And so even in regards to ascension, right? In regards to ascension, in regards to my own pathway, in regards to my own clarity, I've had to go through and let go of a lot of different belief systems and a lot of different teachings and modalities to awaken to something new. There's a lot of handbook stuff. It's like if we got the ascension guide and the handbook, right? A lot of times recently I'm looking through this, I'm going, why did I sign up for this? This is ridiculous, right? But then on the other standpoint too is I have to take that handbook and throw it away, and I have to remember that I'm creating a new handbook in every now moment, right? I'm creating a new level of trust in the pathway, in the not knowing, but walking forward in that truth, in that clarity, in that faith that I'm going to be taken care of, that I'm going to be supported, that I'm going to be loved, even if I'm really stuck, okay, or I'm making and blazing my pathway right now. The fire that ignites the passion and the purpose within the soul is a part of the design in the pathway, right? So I recognize that the ignition point, right, the clarity that I gain from the fire of my light, right, and the ignition point of that is what clears out the debris and all of that stuck energy that keeps me from being able to arrive fully into that new. Now, as a result, when that flame ignites, right, and we go through that process of purification, the purification can take months, it could take weeks, it could take years, it could take decades for some people. We have to recognize this isn't an overnight process. The process of purification, right, the process of integration, the process of returning all of our fractals back to ourselves, all of these different versions of ourselves that show up through the form, right? It's quite a process. I'm only beginning to recognize that this is a lifelong journey now, and that I can really slow down. I can slow down and just be I can slow down and chill. I don't have to rush through anything anymore. There was a part of my awakening and ascension. You know, I say awakening and ascension. There's been like partial ascension. There's been, you know, and now we're going through this whole body thing right now, which is still becoming clearer and clearer why I have to detox and purge at a physical level, because of my atomic structure, right? Because of my atomic spin rate. What foods am I eating that are blocking my light? What things are hindering my transformation? What things are blocking my arteries, right? Like it's getting really clear on those things. And I feel like that is a part of the collective awakening right now, is about the body. For the past 48 hours, there's been this discussion of, there's been just interesting themes that are coming through, right? And I witness them and I'm like, where the heck is this coming from? And since I've been so far removed from a lot of collective stuff and I don't turn on the news often, I forget that there's still collective pathways that are unraveling. There's been a lot regarding health, regarding food, regarding the body, regarding sexuality, that are all being let go of right now. It's like there has been this really rampant mistreatment of ourselves, of our body, of our cells, of our light body, and as a result, that's becoming clearer and clearer, and it's been becoming louder and louder and more amplified in my reality. Why? Because it's important for what is currently taking place. Okay, my body is changing every now moment. My body has the power to heal. My body has the power to transform. My body has the power to do anything. Why? Because I have a lot of light and a lot of life left in my life. And as a result of that knowing, okay, I step forward and through into being able to respond and care again through the talk, through the self-talk, through the self-love, right? Through things like that. There's this process that's unlocking in a lot of our lives right now. And for myself, I don't fully understand what is taking place, but I recognize that it's a part of my pathway to belong to this now moment. And so when I find myself getting scattered, or I get in the future, or I get worried, for the past 16 hours, it's been really important to just call all my energy back and to return to center and to return to presence and go, I'm just going to balance in this now moment. I can't balance out there. I can't balance back there. I belong to right here. And whatever's occurring in this now moment that is right in front of me is all I need to worry about. Whatever else I hear is going on, whatever else I'm aware of, it hasn't quite shown up in my physical reality. And as a result, I don't need to clear that. I don't need to worry about that, right? Well, I do need to clear it, okay? I do need to clear it, but I don't need to worry about it. Let's just put it that way. It's taking a moment to really honor the fact that the lifetimes that I and many of us are clearing right now are pretty freaking brutal. And to face these things head on, square in the eye, and say, you know what? No lie. I'm hurt. I'm scared. I'm terrified. This is what I'm feeling. And being able to finally admit truly to yourself what you're feeling in that given moment. Ooh, that's bravery. Okay, the true bravery, the true courage, okay, is being able to sit there and go, whew, man, in my lifetime, I haven't gone through a lot of really, really insane or crazy things, but what's going on right now is, it's quite intricately woven. Okay, let's put that. It's delicately and divinely golden, right? There is some sort of order that is in place right now, and it's called the divine pathway and the divine alignment. And as a result, weaving in and out of those different realities, different timelines, jumping through different suits, right? Whatever's happening, including things like witnessing teleportation. That's been quite a trip, like sitting here and like hanging out with your friend right there, and having like it's almost like I've had a few moments recently where I'm just sitting there chatting with the friends. I'm chatting with the fellows, and they're like right there. They're literally right there. It's like they are a dimension away, but it's like so close that there is no distance between us. And it's like we're closing in the gap on what it means to be a part of the unified field, right? And what it means to belong to multidimensionality. And as we get those aha moments, this is what it means to not only just say multidimensionality, but to fully understand multidimensionality. You might feel like you're losing your noggin. Well, you are, because you're opening up to an entirely new experience. This is why it's called transcendence, right? We're ending the trance on the illusion of what it was to live a human reality, and we're awakening to what it is to be a divine human in every now moment. And so a part of that is realigning our reality. It's realigning our focus. What is true to us? What is true to our heart? And that's what I'm hearing is, you must be true to your heart. It's about what's true to your heart, right? Like, what do you care for? What do you care for in this world? What do you truly care about? And like really beginning to do it from a place of a feeling state, right? It's coming from a place. It's coming from a place of feeling deep within and knowing that that is exactly where you belong. Is by sharing what and where you care for. Okay, what and where you care for. So it's interesting because a lot of people, including myself, have had to come into terms with like caring about humanity and caring about humanity. There's a big difference between caring and caring. And it's like that really deep caring, and what brings us to that place of surrender, of knowing that it's time for us to care just a little bit more right now. To care a little bit more, to share a little bit more, to be a little bit more, to step beyond our perceived limitations and to begin awakening ourselves to what we're truly here to do. And it's really about the ignition of the soul's purpose. And I'll say this, the original plan for my life is not what I thought it would be. Definitely not. And this is why we have to throw plans out the window. We have to throw out the concepts of belief and the concepts of what we're here to be, and just begin like really listening and honoring what it is, and choosing in every now moment to gift ourselves the opportunity to be that person, right? Whether it's just alone in silence, that's been a lot for me. It's just kind of like sitting there in silence and just paying attention to the back of my eyelids and listening and observing, or coming out into nature, or, connecting with friends and family. It's been about simplifying, right? And so a part of the reason why I've been offline is because there's been a lot I've been pushing through. November has been an accelerated month. There has been zero little window of integration. It's like, oh, here you go, you've made it. Nope, now you're jumping another, or you're clearing this, or you're over here working this, or you're clearing that timeline, or you're watching that collective trajectory, or you're on watch. And it's like, this is a lot of that gatekeeping and grid keeping thing, where we have to let go of a lot of things. And there's a lot of things that I'm learning about myself that are really important in carrying forward, about deep honoring, deep listening, but about respecting myself and respecting one another, regardless of belief systems, regardless of how I feel about certain situations. It's really about that deep truth and honoring one another again, right? Which is about that act of listening, but also acts of compassion to show myself and to show others around me why we do what we do, and why we chose to fly through the universe and to land here and to join this ascension, right? Man, there's a lot of love to share in this world. I'll say this, there's a lot of love that we need to share. There's a lot of things unraveling in our own lives. There's a lot of truth being revealed. There's a lot going on. Whether you're aware of it or not, there's a lot going on. And so we have to, just keep sealing things off, keep clearing at a multidimensional level, and remember what it is to be at this level of creator and creation, and how we trust that this pathway that we are aligning to now is just anchoring more and more and more. So here's how it goes. The energies, they're ramping up. As a result, we are going through a process, right? And our bodies are feeling it more and more and more. We have to begin learning about different routines, different systems, body systems, organs for myself, to make sure that I'm really genuinely taking care of my body again. And the thing is that what my body needs, what my body needs in every now moment It's not going to be the same day to day, and I recognize that it requires intuitive listening. There is no exact program or pathway that I follow. It's just intuitively and every now and moment listening and honoring to what my level of nurture needs, as a part of my ascension pathway and as a part of the blueprints that I carry within the form, and listening to those blueprints to see what my next now and my next new is in every now moment, right? So it really requires being out with Gaia more, recognizing that my own body is changing at a rapid rate, and that it's shifting through a lot, and it's going through its weird movements and feeling strange things, and having encounters with beings that I never thought I would have encounters with. We're not just talking about fairies. We're not just talking about fairies. We're not just talking about Pleiadians. We're talking about, like, holy crap. And that's been a lot of the, it's been a lot. I have, here's the thing. I'm still not entirely sure what my capabilities are. Okay. But I'll say this, is that, many a nights I've been scared to find out who I truly am. And I want to say that is the absolute, I don't like to play in the good and bad and the polarity, but I'm going to use this for the sake of, just because I want to say it, is it's really the wrong approach to reality, is to begin questioning, misidentifying, or not fully surrendering and allowing our process to take shape, or surrendering and allowing ourselves to know who we truly are and what we're capable of here and now. Okay, on all levels. Okay, and there are extremes to this. There are extremes. A lot of mine has been very extreme. I'm like all the way over here, and then like I'm all the way over here. And it's like, it's beginning to recognize, how many different pathways we have to clear out, how many different soul imprints. Our cellular architecture has to shift and change, right? We've got different monad stuff. It's been, not even going to begin to that. It's about recognizing that you belong to the most powerful and beautiful version of yourself that exists here and now. And it's a part of this new promise and new agreement and awakening for us to know fully who we are, to be unlocked fully. What I mean is fully unlocked, fully centered, full knowing, full grounding of who we are on all levels, right? And we're speaking of the oversoul level, we're speaking of our interdimensional versions, all of that. Full DNA unlocking, full rewrite, full upgrades, right? Full potential, full power on. Now I recognize that it was last night. I had an aspect of me show up to help me out with some things. And there it goes. There goes Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. I had a brother, an aspect of me, show up, another version, and basically kind of do some work. It was, med bed time. If you've ever been in med bed time, or you've had your galactics show up, the process, the routine of the healing teams. They come up and they're like, dude, you're just so you know, you're at 15% power. And I felt I was sitting there like, I'm so powerful. And they're like, you're at 15% power right now. And I'm like, you mean that I have another 85% within me that can unlock? And it's like, whew. And yeah, it does scare me. It does scare me. And then I have to become aware of things like narcissism. I have to become aware of, things that I've dealt with behavioral health and weird, just some strange things. I say weird, and I don't want to label it with polarity or give it any power. But there is some weird stuff that goes on, right? And if you've ever been a part of any sort of, experiments or things like that, interdimensionally, I mean, just welcome, welcome to being a hybrid being in a body. Nope. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So as we're traversing the global ascension right now, and we're recognizing how important it is for us to begin to care for not only the future of our planet, but the future of our universe, by beginning to care about ourselves and beginning to care about one another, begin caring about the animal kingdoms and begin caring about the children again, the more that we're going to have opportunity to know fully why it is that we've been asked to do what we're here to do, and why we're calling forward all these experiences, and why we're calling forward these new pathways that are unlocking for all of us right now, man. It's been amazing. We've got communities to build. We've got retreat centers to build. We got people to take care of. We've got hungry people that need food, right? We've got people that are left without a lot of resources right now. And as a result, people are showing up and they're stepping forward. I hear about it and I see it, and I want to say I thank you guys for showing up and for using your resources to take care of one another and to create this new sustainable world that we're building in every now moment, right? To begin, lifting off all of this old garbaggio, and beginning to recognize what it is to be purity again, and what it is to belong to a to belong to a soul family, to be a galactic guardian, to be a caretaker of this beautiful planet of ours, right? And I see it in the sunset, I see it in the sunrise, I see it in the changing of the foliage, right? It's in those simple moments of, watching watching these ducks just sit there and just stare at the lake, right? That is like, wow, like what a beautiful world we live in, right? And to capture the essence of these moments, we have to belong to this presence, right? We have to belong to this knowing. We have to belong to this wisdom that's held within just taking a breath, and just listening and belonging, right? Society itself at a collective level, at a grand stage level, has a lot to go through to fully wake up and for us to fully repair. And there are some of us that we might scare off other people because of who we are, or because of our truth or our clarity, or because of our whatever it might be, right? But I want to say you do not have to fear who you are. You don't have to fear who you are. You don't have to fear any part of you. All you have to do is stand firm in your knowing that you're loved and held and cared for by the true creator essence, right? By the true creators of our soul. That you're loved and you're held, very much so supported, very much so loved and taken care of. Regardless of what you've done, right? Whatever mistakes you think you've made or you have made in this lifetime or in other lifetimes, promise you all is forgiven. It's all forgiven, and it's all being resolved right now. It's all dissolving. You're cared for. You're loved, right? This is a complete global awakening that's occurring right now. And as a result, we have to act from kindness. We have to act from love. We have to come from deep sacred respect in every now moment, right? If we want to see those realities that we keep talking about, we have to begin acting in alignment with those realities, right? This includes what we're saying, what we're believing, what we're thinking, what we're sharing with the world. A lot is shifting and a lot is changing, including in my own life. And I don't really fully recognize who I am now, which is good, because that means that there has been a dissolution of identity and an awakening of this soul essence, right? An awakening of this light, right? And there's this future version of Corey that's showing up who's like, come on, time to get the ball rolling. You're putting the puzzle pieces together. And it's that sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly journey, right? Is like, sometimes I wake up and bam, I know it. And some days it's like, I wonder why I'm still going and why I'm still here, why I still do what I'm doing. But it's like, literally, this is what my guidance says. Go grab an apple and go sit outside. And I'm like, okay. I'm just going to go grab an apple. I'm going to eat an apple and stare off at the sunset. Right? And they're like, go hiking. Okay, I'm going to go hiking. Go do yoga. Okay, go do yoga. Okay, go play guitar. Okay, I'm going to go play guitar. And as a result, it's really restructuring my own viewpoint on the energies of being a male or a masculine, and how to care for my child again, right? So especially coming from things like poverty consciousness, a part of awakening out of that is recognizing that we don't have to do as much to belong to society or to be cared for, to be taken care of, right? Sometimes we have these little angels that show up in our lives that are a part of who we are, and they show us what it is to belong to the light again, what it means to belong to the great divine pathway and the divine plan. And as these angels show up all around my life, and they show up all around you now, we get clearer and clearer knowing of what it means to be supported by what many would say are the invisible realms, right? So, and to feel that love and support. There's a lot happening, guys. There's a lot of stuff that we all consciously as a community together in oneness, have to step away from and consciously choose to step into. A lot of power, guys, a lot of power is coming through, right? For you, for your families, for your relatives, right? And it's really about us now beginning to recognize not only our power, but our love and our truth as well. And man, you know, there's there's a lot of stuff we need to do, and we're here to build, and I'm excited, right? But it's also making sure that that we are we're practicing courtesy and respect everywhere that we go, making sure that we are taking care of our bodies, that we're taking care of our DNA, that we're taking care of our crystalline aspects, yeah, our crystalline attitude as well. And as a result, sometimes we need a little bit of an attitude adjustment, which I've gone through quite a few recently. And it's been a moment to really check myself and to be able to go, okay, I need to look deeper within, and I need to shift that out because it no longer belongs, right? It's like, for myself, the programming, it's just human programming. It's just a belief system or you know, a code, something that I hold. There's a lot of things that don't belong in my life anymore. And as a result, I have to admit when I'm wrong and be very delicate and gentle with myself and go, you know what? I was wrong for saying that. I was wrong for doing that. I'm sorry. And that's a part of that integrity piece for myself. Is sometimes, you know, some people say we're not here to apologize. We're here to remember. That's something that Lisa Transcendence Brown says. She goes, you guys, we're not here to ask for forgiveness. We're here to remember, right? And so there has been this energy of thank you, but there's also been this recognizing of coming forward and saying, hey, like, you know, that was an improper way of using my energy, or I wasn't honoring your boundaries, or, you know, I questioned you, or I doubted you for a really long time, and I want to say I'm sorry, like, or I don't fully understand why it is you do what you do, but I want to say I'm proud of you, and I honor you, and I respect you, right? Because we all have different purposes, we all have different pathways, we all have different missions, we all have different guidelines, we all have different realities at some level. Some of us do share pathways and share, like, you know, timelines or realities. But a lot of the time there's a lot of differences, and when we don't see the unity within the difference, right, the differences of opinion and things like that, we begin to play into the separation more. And what we're doing with unity consciousness is being able to go, oh, I honor you, I honor that you're different, I honor that you do things a little bit differently, right? And it doesn't matter whether you shimmy to the left or shimmy to the right, right? It's about just the fact that you're shimmying in the first place, right? It doesn't matter whether you sing high or you sing low. It's just a matter that you're singing. So let's take a moment to remember, okay, that we all bleed the same color. Some of us. We all feel. We all have different thoughts, different belief systems, but we can choose consciously to come back into oneness now, and to remember what it is to be the one and to respond as the one. And that means that if you're holding anything like any form of segregation, or, you know, any different belief systems regarding to like socioeconomic class or socioeconomic structures or skin color or family line or cultural beliefs, right? Like that, a part of us being representatives of the light here is to say, hey, like, that doesn't belong here anymore, right? And I am consciously choosing to shift that out, right? And the realities are bringing that forward now, amplification of why we're going through what we're going through, but also remembering that there's still things that come up to the surface. And the more we honor and listen, the more that we let go, the faster our entire world will transform. And the more that we take care of one another, the more we remember what it is to be compassionate again. And it doesn't matter whether you're black, white, orange, you know, it doesn't matter. And I'm being silly here. And these are kind of what I'm hearing from the soul to say. And it's one of those things where we have to stop playing in the division, because it really is important for us to really unify now, because that is what Gaia is calling forward for us, right? It's not so much an agenda because of one individual or some strong belief system or some strong person at the top. This is what Gaia wants. And the more that you listen to Gaia and what Gaia wants, the more we can understand the purity, right, that she wants, and the level of consciousness she wants us to hold here and now. And so I'm just going to keep honoring, keep playing, and keep doing as I'm guided, whether I'm showing up on screen, or I'm making some macaroni and cheese, or I'm jogging with my salamander, or I'm staring at the ducks, or I'm playing at the lake, right? It's really about honoring and listening and recognizing that a part of these future pathways that I belong to, right, and that you belong to as well, that require us to be that most beautiful version, most powerful, loving, soft, kind, and beautiful version of ourselves. It requires a lot, and sometimes it requires a lot less than we might imagine to land in that future pathway. It's just about surrendering fully. Okay, so I love you guys. Much love and respect to everyone out there. Thank you guys for all your donations, all your likes, shares, and subscribes. If you'd like to book a session, if you'd like to book a reading with me, please go to foundersoflight.org. I am open for sessions, and we are celebrating. It's celebration day, guys, and let's keep celebrating that gratitude. We've got Thanksgiving coming up here in the United States, which there's a lot of distortion involved with that, but there seems to be a feeling of something really exciting that's occurring, some sort of transformative shift that's happening, and I'm being very delicate with that word. It's just a moment of celebrating humanity again, all of us, regardless of skin tone, regardless of belief system, regardless of what you've been through, right? It's especially here in the United States, it's about that celebration again. Yes, there's a lot that's happened, but there's a lot that's shifted out, and we're all saying no more. Okay, we're all saying no more. So I love you guys. Much love and respect to everyone out there, and with that, we'll see you in another moment of the now.